What is going on, guys? You got Tone here, the coach of the Maine Red Clawitzers, and I know it has been a while since my last upload. This is going to be my first upload of the new year, so happy new year. I know it's extremely late, but nevertheless, I am bringing you week 3 of the IBL Alolan League off-season. We are up against brackets coach of the Tottenham Espurrs, and we are coming off of a close 1-0 loss to the Orlando Mudkips in our last battle, looking to rebound after that. But nevertheless, I do feel as though I built a team that can pretty much handle whatever he decides to bring against me. So with all that being said, I am just going to run down really quick his 8 Pokemon that he has on his team. So his 8 Pokemon consists of Buzzwole, Starmie, Salazzle, Mandibuzz, Magneton, Dhelmise, Zygarde 10%, and the Miltank. And of course, my team being the Tapu Lele, Kommo-o, Decidueye, Snorlax, Garbodor, Gigalith, Stoutland, and the Lantern. So, a couple of things to note about my opponent's team. For one, he has no way of getting up hazards. Normally, his way of getting up rocks or whatnot is Miltank, but since we are playing in the pre-bank meta, Miltank does not have access to Stealth Rock. He has 3 forms of hazard removal with Rapid Spin Starmie, Rapid Spin Dhelmise, and Defog Mandibuzz. Which can be, he could bring a combination of at least 2 of these bonds, as I do have Stealth Rock and Spikes, which I hope to take advantage of in this battle. Another thing to notice, he does have some very, very scary mons, most notably the Zygarde 10% with the ability to pretty much hit everything on my team very, very hard with 1,000 arrows, as my only ground resist is the Decidueye, so have to keep that in mind when I face this team. So just to bring you a rundown of the team that I did bring versus brackets, the first Pokemon you see here, of course, is the Tapu Lele. With the leftovers this time, no choice items here, with Substitute, Psychic Moonblast, and Hidden Power Ground. The nice thing about Tapu Lele is this coverage hits everything on his team, or at least neutral damage. As Tapu Lele is so good at forcing switches, so I can get up a free Substitute whenever I want. Psychic hits the Starmie, hits the Buzzwole. That's about it. It pretty much 2-hit KOs everything on his team, depending on what the Miltank set is. Moonblast for the Mandibuzz and the Zygarde, and HP Ground hits the Magneton. The EV Spreads is a very tanky set this time. I kind of want to maintain bulk over speed, since I can force switches, I don't need to try to outspeed anything in particular, and it lets my Substitute try to take any weaker hits from Mandibuzz, but hey. As for the investment, max special attack, modest nature, hit as hard as possible, 44 speed to outspeed uninvested Miltank, and the rest is put into HP just to provide some bulk to make it some substitutes as bulky as possible and harder to break. So that is basically Tapu Lele. Its job is just to force switches, get up a sub, and then just break stuff down. So, moving on to our next Pokemon here, we have Illuminati, the Shuckleberry Lantern, coming back. With the Volt Absorb, this is my main switch into the Magneton, with Scald, Ice Beam, Volt Switch, and Thunderbolt. I was thinking something like Dazzling Gleam for the Buzzwole, but if I could potentially burn it with a Scald, that would be very, very useful in the battle. Ice Beam hits the Dhelmise and the Zygarde. Volt Switch for momentum, as his main switch-in to Volt Switch is Zygarde 10%, and after he goes for 1,000 arrows, I eat the Shuckleberry, and I live, and I go for Ice Beam. And Thunderbolt is Thunderbolt for the Starmie, again for the Mandibuzz is 2. EV Spreads just balances out its defenses while maxing its special attack. Don't need any speed investment because I don't really outspeed anything in particular, and the stuff I naturally do outspeed on this team, I don't need to speed creep for anything in particular. So this is just my way of dealing with the baiting in the Zygarde 10%. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my Lantern. Moving on now, we have Shura the Decidueye with Haze, Roost, Toxic, and Spirit Shackle. So the idea behind Haze is mainly to ensure that if he brings Substitute Bulk Up Buzzwole, which does do quite a bit to my team, with Substitute Bulk Up, Leech Life, and then Earthquake from my Garbodor and my Lantern, that can be a problem. Haze is here to ensure that I get rid of any stat boost, try to Toxic the Buzzwole and the Mandibuzz before I try to do any shenanigans, or try to taunt my Decidueye back. And Spirit Shackle is just there to ensure that I'm not taunt bait, and it prevents my opponent from switching. EV Spread here is just max HP, 84 speed, lets me outspeed uninvested Mandibuzz, so I can Toxic it before it can try to taunt me, and the rest is put into defense to take physical hits better from like the Buzzwole and whatnot. So this is basically one of my responses to Buzzwole as a whole. So that is my Decidueye. Next up, we have Gaia the Gigalith. No Smooth Rock since I'm not running Stoutland. I have Papa Berry just because I couldn't think of anything else to put on this Mon. I was thinking like maybe it was initially Custap Berry, but Custap Berry is not available in Sun and Moon, so I had to just think of something off the top of my head. And I have Papa Berry just sounded like the best item in this situation. So pretty much the same set as in week number 1. But this is just a more offensive spread. As week 1 I brought a more defensive spread. This is a more tanky spread with max HP, max attack. Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Explosion, just to get some momentum into my other mods. Excuse me. So nothing much for to say. Gigalith is my response to the Salazzle, as I don't really have anything to take a combination of Fire plus Poison, which is why Gigalith was necessary. I was thinking like a special defensive set, but I figured it could take a hit. It could take at least 2 hits from Salazzle, as long as like, I don't think he gets Grass Knot, but no, I don't think he gets Grass Knot. But if it's like Nasty Plot, that could be a little bit more of an issue. So nevertheless, it still does its job pretty decently. So this is my Gigalith set. Next up, making its debut for my team, we have Bites the Dust, the Payapa Berry Garbodor. And we're rocking a unique Spikes 3 attacks special variant of Garbodor with Spikes, Acid Spray, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. So this set is completely walled by Magneton, but I never really cared for Magneton because I have other options to deal with said Magneton. So the idea is to force my opponent into switching a lot and keeping Hazard off the field with Spikes. They take spike damage on entry and then try to force the rapid spin. And if they make contact and I die, Garbodor goes down. Aftermath triggers, they take more damage. So yeah, Payapa Berry ensures that my Garbodor can take a take a Psychic or Psyshock from a Starmie, and then I retaliate with a Thunderbolt. After, if it switches on Acid Spray and then stays and goes for Psychic, T-Ball can potentially one-shot depending on its EV spread. Acid Spray is also nice for wearing down Buzzwole, wearing down Miltank. Thunderbolt for the Starmie and the Mandibuzz, and Psychic is for the Buzzwole. EV spread, enough speed to outspeed uninvested Mandibuzz, max special attack, 212 HP. Again, nothing real fancy there, but it's a nice little lore, I guess, so to speak. I'm pretty sure it's going to expect like a physical variant, but special variant works out very, very nicely in this matchup. And last but not least, basically our setup Mon is going to be Angarius the Kommo-o Autonomized 3 attacks with the Fighting MZ, with Draco Meteor, Focus Blast, and Clanging Scales to go along with Autonomize. The EV spread is kind of straightforward, but the EV spread lets my Kommo-o outspeed Jolly Max Speed Buzzwole, I believe it is, and then after an Autonomized boost, I outspeed stuff like potentially Scarf Starmie, which I know he won't bring, but I've been surprised in the past before by other like unique sets. So this is basically going to be my wall breaker. The Fight EMZ is just there to do massive damage to Mandibuzz and the Miltank, as those are the only two Pokemon I can really switch in on Draco Meteor. You could bring something like a tanky Delmi set or whatnot, but Delmize I could probably wear down pretty handily since it doesn't have lack of recovery, and if I'm able to get Stealth Rock and Spikes up on my side of the field, then wearing it down should be a lot more easier for me. So yeah, that's pretty much the team that I am bringing versus brackets. So with that being said, we're going to switch over to the battle now, so we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with week number 3 of the IBL Alolan League off-season battle against brackets and the Tottenham Espurrs. Now, looking at the team he brought, he brings a team of Zygarde 10%, Salazzle, Delmize, Buzzwole, Starmie, and the Miltank. I honestly expected to see Magneton and Mandibuzz over the Miltank and the Delmize, but nevertheless, I can handle both of them pretty decently, I believe, with the combination of Tapu Lele plus my Kommo-o if I get the chance to set up. Nonetheless, though, judging by his team, I felt as though the Decidueye was the overall safest lead, simply because I could either... If he leads off with Salazzle, I can hard switch into Gigalith. If he leads off with Delmize, I could Spirit Shackle. Buzzwole would become an issue because I don't have Brave Bird. And like I said in the team builder, substitute Buzzwole or sub-bulk up Buzzwole for that matter would be a huge threat to my team. So I feel as though that, this Decidueye was the overall safest lead in this situation. So as we start the video here, like I said, I lead over the Decidueye. It was, to me, it felt like the overall safest lead in the team that I brought, and didn't want to be overwhelmed and just try to set things up for me, try to set the tone early in the battle. So I usually with Zygarde 10%, pretty obvious. Well, it wasn't really an obvious lead, but considering my ground resist is by now lead Decidueye, nothing I can do about that. So what I'm going to decide to do here, and I decided to go for a Toxic here as he reveals the Crunch. And now I kind of wish I was Cobra Barrier because that's a clean 2-hit KO, and which also reveals he is Life Orb, Zygarde 10% here. So I'm just going to go for a Toxic here. None of my attacks won't be doing much damage, even though Zygarde 10% isn't really as bulky as Zygarde 50%, much less complete form, but Toxic was the overall safest play here. So now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place here, so I'm just deciding to go for Roost here on my following turn just to see what's going to happen. I was probably sacking this thing off here, but he decides to switch out here and go out into his Miltank. So I get off a Roost here for essentially free. He was probably predicting me to switch into maybe the Kommo-o. So I don't know what happened there, but I do get the Roost off. I'm almost back at full HP. I can't really touch this thing if he Sap Stepper, as he would then double wall my stab. So predicting him to probably go for a Heal Bell here, I just decided to go hard into my Gigalith here, get the sand up. Nothing real fancy about that. So now he decides to go for the return here. So it most likely that Miltank was indeed scrappy Miltank, so he wouldn't be walled by my Decidueye, which does make sense. Now here I could have went for Stealth Rock here, but he decides to hard switch into the Buzzwole, which does make sense, as it can take any hit from my Gigalith, as I do end up getting my rocks up here. But I can't touch this thing with I cannot touch Buzzwole with my Gigalith here, so, and he reveals his leftovers. So I decided to pull a switch back into the Decidueye just in case he was a bulk up variant of Buzzwole here, just to see what he decided to do. And like I thought, he indeed was substitute Buzzwole. So now I'm in a bit of a pickle here, but makes matters even worse is the fact that my Decidueye is not a tag investment and it does not have Brave Bird, so I'm not going to break this thing sub in one hit. So I'm going to have to burn a turn, unfortunately, to do just that. I mean, I do have the clanging scales on my Kommo, which bypasses substitutes, but I didn't want to go directly into it as he decided to go for Leech Life here. I could have went to Kommo here, as Kommo does resist the Leech Life here, and that did so much damage, unfortunately, as he basically just gets essentially back to full HP after Leftovers recovery. I go for the Spirit Shackle here, probably trying to get a lucky break and break his sub on a crit or something. But unfortunately, that does not happen here, as he's just too doggone bulky, just flexing in my face. But but nothing else I can do here is I'm just gonna I'm gonna essentially trade the Decidueye for taking out Buzzwole's substitute, which is kind of a bad trade-off, but it does allow me after I break Buzzwole's sub to go directly into Tapu Lele and click Psychic. So here comes the Leech Life again, and I believe I live on I live on 11. So now he's back at full HP, and I'm gonna go for the Spirit Shackle one more time. Nothing else I can do about this. So hitting off the Spirit Shackle, and luckily this is enough to break the Buzzwole sub, but he's essentially back at full HP as the Sandstorm subsides. So I don't get taken out by Sandstorm damage, and I live to see one more turn, which I am just going to sack off the Decidueye to the next Leech Life from the Buzzwole. So unfortunately, the Decidueye again doesn't do much in any of the battle, but its sacrifice did go to a better cause, as while Buzzwole did the attack raise, I do go out into my Tapu Lele for free. And now I pretty much get to pull the same bit of a shenanigan he pulled against me, getting up a free substitute against his team. He doesn't want to take in and take a Psychic from this thing, so he decides to hard switch out into his Starmie here on the Psychic, as I'm just going to go for a substitute of my own. So it's funny how we both had the same game plan, as sub Tapu Lele decimates his team, sub Buzzwole decimates my team. So pretty much we had great mind thinking alike, I guess. So I get the Leftovers recovery here, and I get to fire up a free Moonblast, which is very, very nice in this situation. He goes for the Scald here. I'm thinking this is going to break my sub the first occasion. I'm like, that's fine. So substitute fades here. I go for fire off a Moonblast here, nice and powerful. And unfortunately for me, I get a crit. And I also get the special attack drop on the Starmie. So my thought process here is he's going to go for a recover here. So I figure I take the opportunity to go for another substitute as he goes for recover. But unfortunately, he decides to try to sack this thing off. He goes for Thunder Wave, and unfortunately he missed as I go for another substitute. That was an unfortunate turn of events for brackets, because if he had paralyzed my Tapu Lele, he would have been in a lot better position, because Tapu Lele destroyed his team. So I get to fire off another Moonblast here, as he can either decide to try to break my substitute with Scald or go for Rapid Spin. He goes for the Scald here, and because of the special attack drop from the Moonblast, he does not take out my sub. So I get to go for another Moonblast, and down goes the Starmie. So Tapu Lele picking up its first kill of the battle. And I'm thinking I got rid of his hazard removal, but then I remembered that his Delmise could be Rapid Spin as well. But I do go for another free attack as he goes out into his Miltank. I get to fire off a Psychic after taking the Stealth Rock damage. I get up a free Psychic, like I said. He gets to go for the EQ just to break my sub. But unfortunately, he had to do something, but I can understand the thought process here. With the Decidueye gone, Miltank became a little bit more expendable to him. I go for my Psychic here, and I take out the Miltank. So that's back-to-back kills for Tapu Lele. I am sitting pretty so far, 5-4. Unfortunately, though, this does give him a free switch into the Salazzle as the weirdest disappears from the battlefield. He instead decides to go into his Delmise. So I kind of figured he was probably like a bulky Delmise set. Don't know what item he was holding at the time, so didn't want to risk it fearing the other shot. I go out into I hard switch into my Kommo here just to see what he's going to do as he goes for the Rapid Spin. So The rocks are gone, but that's fine. I figured I take this opportunity to fire off a Draco Meteor, as I can't really do anything else with the Fighting Z, serving a little bit less purpose because Hatagai's only fighting resist. And judging by that damage, that looked 100% Assault Vest Delmise. And make matters worse, he went for Anchor Shot. So now I am pretty much forced in. I'm stuck in with my Como at -2. And I'm just going to fire another Draco Meteor trying to get a crit. I could have went for Clanging Scales here, but the problem would be that I would be at -1 defense. He would take me out with a Anchor Shot or a Shadow Claw in this case, if I went for it enough times. So I'm essentially just trying to sack this. I'm essentially sacking this off, but because I'm at -4 now, I get to go back into Buzzwole, and like the previous scenario when I had Gigalith out, he gets to go for a free substitute since I'm now at -4, soon to be -6. And since my Draco Meteors will not be doing enough to break his sub, it does enough at -4 without -6. I decided to keep Como around as it did outspeed some important stuff like his Delmise. So I figured I could save this for like either an extra attack or sack fodder. So I got into my Garbodor here just to see what he decided to do. And I knew he was going to go for another substitute here. So I figured Garbodor's main niche was to just break the sub on the Buzzwole here. I figured that he would have to have EQ, as he already showed it earlier. And here comes the EQ now on my Garbodor. But unfortunately for me, I do end up living the EQ, not by much, but enough for that my Garbodor can then go for a Psychic to break Buzzwole's sub. So I'm pretty much forcing him to attack my Garbodor here. But I know he's not going to go for Leech Life because of Aftermath, so I'm essentially sacking this thing off to Buzzwole to ensure that my Tapu Lele can then come in like I did with my Decidueye, sack off Garbodor, go into Decidueye, and force another 50-50 of me either going for a substitute or me going and attacking with the Psychic. So down goes my Garbodor. Didn't get to set up spikes like I wanted to, but that's perfectly fine by me. It's another attack boost, but Buzzwole cannot outspeed my Tapu Lele, which I specifically EV to outspeed. So Tapu Lele now comes in. I force a 50-50. Would I either sub again or would I go hard for the Psychic this time around? He predicts that I was going to go for substitute again and stayed in, which was great for me because I went for Psychic this time around. And down goes his threat in Buzzwole, my fault. So Buzzwole, the annoyance, is finally gone. Tapu Lele now has 3 kills in this battle, putting in the work. But he now gets to go into his Salazzle here. And why I decided here, go into my Gigalith, but he pulls a double switch, predicting me to go into my Gigalith, and he goes back out into his Delmise. So I figured, even though he caught me with the switch, I figured that a Stone Edge it's already in range of a Stone Edge from my Gigalith. And I should be able to take at least a Power Whip or an Anchor Shot from this range of HP. The Sandstorm damage would just add to the effect, the guarantee that I hit with Stone Edge. But unfortunately, he goes for Anchor Shot and he unfortunately crit me, which sucks because Gigalith was my switch into Salazzle. I shouldn't have risked it. I should have hard switched into Como here and sacked it off and then gone back into Tapu Lele. But that's fine. I get to go on to Tapu Lele here like before, click Psychic, and down goes Tapu Lele. Now, it kind of sucks that Tapu Lele is only coming in on sacks, but I felt it was the best play in my estimation. So hopefully he won't blame me for doing the plays I did. But nevertheless, Tapu Lele now has 4 kills in the battle, and all he has left is Zygarde 10% and a Salazzle. In comes the Salazzle here. So I'm not staying on the Sludge Wave whatsoever. So I'm going to decide to just sack off my Como here, as it doesn't really have any more purpose, as as Salazzle and Zygarde 10% both outspeed my Como anyways. So I sack off Como to the Sludge Wave from the Salazzle, which gives me a free switch to go into my Lantern and just click Scald, as my Lantern can take at least 2 Sludge Waves from a Salazzle. Even more importantly, that he's not Life Orb, and from the damage, he wasn't Specs either. So in comes Zygarde 10% again. I kind of wanted to go to Ice Beam, predicting the switching, but I figured it was fine because I'm offensive anyway. And as you see from that damage, after Poison, Scald will do enough to one-shot the Zygarde. Here was a 50-50 because I am Shuckle Berry. I need this for Salazzle. He decided to go for a Dragonette, predicting me to switch out into Tapu Lele, and boy, am I glad I didn't, because I was debating this turn so long. So he decided to go for DD, predicting by Tapu Lele. I decided to stay in and go for the Scald, which paid off for me. Down goes Zygarde 10%, and all he has left is this Salazzle. So last Pokemon Salazzle here. I know my Lantern will take at least 1 Sludge Wave from Salazzle, potentially 2 depending on the roll, but you see, does enough to maybe be a 2 KO. I go for the Scald, down goes the Salazzle, and that is going to be good game to brackets. So we pull out the extremely close 2-0 win with a bunch of stuff going my way. And it was pretty much great prep on both my part and Bracket's part, because we both I brought sub 3 attacks Tapu Lele. He was most likely sub 3 attacks Buzzwole. He could have been bulk up as a 4th move, as Leech Life plus EQ does a ton to my team. But nonetheless, we are now 2-1 on the season. So that all being said, it was still a very, very solid battle with Brackets. To recap, Salazzle for Brackets. Salazzle got a kill, Dhelmise got a kill, Buzzwole gets 2 kills, and I believe Miltank got a kill. Let me see, trying to remember. Yes. Oh no, Salazzle got a kill, Dhelmise got a kill, and Buzzwole got 2 kills, and for me, Lantern gets 2 kills, and Tapu Lele gets 4. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, feel free to leave a like and a comment in the description down below. I do appreciate it. This is my first video for 2017. I know I am behind on these uploads. Had some stuff acting up with my computer, but trying to make it work for the most part. And for the most part, I will be combining my week 3 and week 4 battles into one video, just so it saves me a little bit of time, simply because I'm already running behind time, and I don't want to keep these uploads coming I don't want to keep on pushing off these updates, these videos, any longer than I have to be. So, with that all being said, stay tuned for week number 4, which will be immediately following this video, Team Builder, and then the battle itself. I will try to remember to leave timestamps in the description, so you can skip the Team Builder and just go directly to the battle if you don't want to see what I brought, which is fine by me. So, hope you guys enjoy, like I said. So, we'll be right back, and I will be bringing you week 4 against the Kansas City Nidokings. So, with that, we will be right back. What is going on, guys? You got Tone here, and I'm bringing you week number 4 of the IBL Alolan League off-season. This week, we are up against Caleb, coach of the Kansas City Nidokings. Now, we are coming off of a 2-0 win over the Tottenham Espurrs in our last battle, so we are now 2-1 in the off-season, sitting pretty near the top of the conference standings. So, trying to keep that momentum going as we head on into the middle portion of the off-season. So, this week we are up against the Nidokings, the Kansas City Nidokings, like I said. And just to briefly run down their team of 8 Pokemon, if I remember it correctly, his team consists of the Primarina. He has Mudsdale, Alolan Golem, Alolan Persian, what's the rest of his team? Anyway, Primarina, Alolan Golem, Alolan Persian, the Mudsdale, Pinsir, Type Null. Man, I don't even have it in front of me. Oh boy, there's always 2 mons I always forget. Alright, the Beware and the I think I named them all. Let me see. Alolan Persian, Pinsir, Mudsdale, Alolan Golem, Beware, Primarina, Type Null, and Lycanroc Midday. That's the one I was forgetting. Man, I am out of it today. But anyway, with that being said, though, looking at going through his team, I figured the one thing that his team really lacks is the fact that he has absolutely no hazard removal. So I'm going to I can freely bring Spike Stack, Hazard Stack in general against this team, and just wear things down with a combination of Stealth Rock Spikes and Toxic Spikes between my Gigalith and my Garbodor. And looking at the team that I brought versus Caleb, you can see right here my first Pokemon, Fat Albert the Snorlax, is going to be the win con after I wear down his team enough. Curslax actually does a number to his team as a whole, even though he has stuff like Alolan Golem, which resists normal, and he has Fur Coat, Alolan Persian at the disposal. He has Mudsdale with Stamina, which boosts its defense with every attack it takes. Nonetheless, Snorlax puts in a lot of work against his team. It pressures his team so much because after I get a couple of curses going, and his only way of dealing with my Snorlax is to hit it on the special side, and he only has two special attackers, being Primarina and the Alolan Persian. But this EV spread kind of neuters the special attackers a bit, as the EV spread, as you see from my Snorlax, it lets my Snorlax take 2 Specs Hydro Pumps from a modest max special attack Primarina, and the rest is just balanced out between its HP and 36 defense, because just needed to increase its defenses a little bit more, as I'm already boosting my as his attack stats are already going to be going through the roof, and it needs the defense more to take physical hits a little bit better, especially for stuff like the Pinsir, if it gets a couple of Moxie boosts going. But yeah, nothing fancy, just straight up rest, sleep, talk, curse, frustration. Pretty short, straightforward, and to the point, but it's going to put in work, hopefully. So next up, we have Bites the Dust, the Garbodor, with the very unique set of, well, not really unique, but just a little bit of added spice at the end, with Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Gunk Shot, and we have Solar Beam. Now, Solar Beam is nice because what Garbodor can do, it lures in the 2 Pokemon on his team, well, technically 3 Pokemon. But I don't really want to count Lycanroc Midday because it's not really meant to be taking hits. So, Garbodor basically lures in the 2 Pokemon I'm expecting him to bring, which is the Mudsdale and the Alolan Golem. And if I get Spikes and Toxic Spikes up and they're forced to come in because his entire team is grounded, which is even better, and then if they're weakened enough, I can hit him with that nice and powerful Solar Beam. And of course, Gunk Shot I need for the Primarina, as he doesn't have any Steel types. It's a pretty safe move to click in the beginning of the match. But as for the rest of the investment goes, max HP, 140 EVs in speed lets me outspeed. It lets me outspeed Modest max speed Primarina. I outspeed Adamant max speed Beware. Just to ensure that Gunk Shot can do a tremendous amount to that Primarina. I won't be doing much to Garbodor probably, but Fluffy, I don't think Gunk Shot does not make contact, so I think it can bypass Fluffy there. But Garbodor's job early on is just to try to get up Spikes and Toxic Spikes early on in the match. The only thing that will really stop my Garbodor from doing that is if he brings the Lycanroc or the Alolan Persian and they both have Taunt. That's pretty much his only way of making sure hazards are not on his side of the field, is by just clicking Taunt. But even if he clicks Taunt, he didn't have to take a Gunk Shot from my Garbodor, and even though it's not running any attack investment, still going to do a good chunk of damage, which is nice. So, and even though I'm running an Impish Nature, Solar Beam still does a lot to Mudsdale, as I'm pretty sure it's going to be running physically defensive for my Stoutland, my Gigalith, my Snorlax, my physical attackers in general. Still does like about like a good, hopefully like 40%, depending on if it's like AV Mudsdale, but we'll see. Next up, I am finally bringing the Decidueye offensively this time around. SD Decidueye holding the Flying Z, which turns Brave Bird into Supersonic Sky Strike. This is my way of getting rid of the Beware, which can take physical attacks from my Decidueye thanks to Fluffy, since its moves make contact. Of course, if the Decidueye had hidden ability Long Reach, it bypasses Fluffy, because then moves that make contact don't make contact, so it can bypass Fluffy. But in any case, this is the set with Swords Dance, Leaf Blade, Brave Bird, and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is mainly just there to like pick off a weakened like Alolan Persian or Scarf Pinsir, which he has brought in the past. I'm pretty much expecting him to bring it again, because it can revenge kill a lot of stuff on my team, as he can outspeed my Tapu Lele if I'm not Choice Scarf, and spoiler alert, it's not. Brave Bird is for the Beware, like I said. It also has the Pinsir, which would be nice if I can take that out. But if I get some chip damage on the Pinsir, Sucker Punch should do enough if I get to +2. Like Garbodor, this EV spread outspeeds Primarina and Adamant max speed Beware, max attack, and the rest is just put into HP. So that is the Decidueye in a nutshell. Next up, we have Kommo-o, my third and final setup sweeper. Because I'm really looking to overpower him with Hatterstack and setup mons, which is what this is what Kommo-o does here. This pretty much hits everything on his team for at least neutral damage. Dragon Dance, Outrage, Brick Break, Poison Jab. Once the Primarina is gone, I can freely go for Outrage with my Kommo-o. I could have went max attack, max speed Jolly. This will at least let me speed tie with Pinsir. But even if I get to +1 and he Scarf Pinsir, it would end up being a speed tie. So I figured instead of just going for the speed tie, I'll just maintain my. I'll add to its bulk and make it a bulky setup sweeper, as it can take hits from anything, because base 125 special defense and base 105 special defense, even uninvested, still can take hits for days. The only problem is the Primarina, but Primarina cannot switch in on my Kommo-o fearing the Poison Jab. Didn't really have anything to put in terms of abilities, but Soundproof is nice just in case he decides to bring, like, for some reason, if he brings like Sparkling Aria, Primarina, but Kommo-o does resist that. But there wasn't really much I can think of in terms of its other abilities, like Overcoat and Bulletproof, because another spoiler alert, my Gigalith does not have Sandstream this time. The EV spread, again, outspeeding Primarina and Beware. At +2, I outspeed everything on his team, including Scarf Pinsir. Brick Break hits the Lycanroc Midday, hits the Alolan Golem, hits the Alolan Persian, type Null. Poison Jab for the Primarina, so I'm not walled by it. So yeah, that's Kommo-o. Number 5, we have Tapu Lele Expert Belt with Psychic Moonblast, Grass Knot, and Draining Kiss. This set is nice because it makes my opponent believe that I am Choice Scarf. I can bait him into something else and then just go for another attack. Psychic is just here. Psychic is mainly just here for the I forgot what it was. It's here for the Beware, but I also have Moonblast, which also hits the Alolan Persian. Grass Knot does a tremendous amount to the Mudsdale and the Alolan Golem, and Draining Kiss lets me regain health. I don't really need it, but it's nice to have. The EV spread lets me outspeed non-Choice Scarf Pinsir, as I believe that's the fastest Pokemon Tapu Lele can outspeed, because Tapu Lele is slower than Alolan Persian, and it's slower than Lycanroc Midday. Max special attack, rest, and HP. Nothing really else to say about that. Tapu Lele is a threat. When you have a Pokemon that's a threat to its team, you gotta break it. Case in point, Tapu Lele is a beast. And last but not least, we have the Gigalith with Chople Berry. Same EV spread as last week, same moveset as last week. The only difference is I have Chople Berry, so I can take a fighting attack from the Beware. If I don't already have rocks up, I'll get them up, and then I can go for an explosion, do a tremendous amount of damage to his Beware or any other Pokemon, even though he has the fur coat, Alolan Persian, Alolan Golem can switch in. Explosion will still do a good amount of damage, and then provides my team with switch initiative into any of my other 5 Pokemon. So, yeah, that's pretty much the team I am bringing versus Caleb and the Kansas City Nidokings. I hope you guys are excited. So, we're going to switch over to the battle here, and we will be right back. And we are here with week number 4 of the IBL Alolan League off-season. The Maine Red Clawitzers are looking to make it back-to-back wins against Caleb and the Kansas City Nidokings. Now, as you see, by the team he brought, I 100% predicted his team correct with Alolan Persian, Pinsir, Mudsdale, Alolan Golem, Beware, and Primarina. So, like I said in the team motor, he has no way of removing hazards on his side of the field. His only way of keeping hazards off is if his Alolan Persian has taunt on it to prevent my Garbodor from getting up spikes and toxic spikes, and my Gigalith from getting up Stealth Rock. So I decided to put that theory to the test, and once I saw his team, I knew immediately that I wanted to lead off with Garbodor here and try to get up as many hazards as possible. So with that being said, I do apologize though the volume is a little bit low on the battle itself. I hope that's not much of an issue. So I lead off with my Garbodor here as he ends up leading off with Java, his Alolan Persian. So I figured the way he led off with this is probably was an anti-lead with taunt. So I didn't go for my spikes and toxic spikes turn 1. I decided to go for a Gung Shot here just to see what he's going to do. So I see the Dark Pulse here. Does a good amount of damage, reveals he's Life Orb, Alolan Persian. I'm going to go for the Gung Shot here for damage in case he decides to taunt me turn 1. And there's a good amount of damage here from an uninvested Garbodor here. So now I decided to see if he had taunt. So I go for Toxic Spikes here as he reveals the Parting Shot. That's fine by me. Since he didn't go for taunt here, I get off free Toxic Spikes, which is nice for wearing down his Mudsdale, Alolan Golem. Pretty much everything on his team is affected by Toxic Spikes, like I said. So here's that layer of Toxic Spikes. I don't need to go for 2 because he doesn't have, and most of his Pokemons don't have recovery outside rest. So, fearing the Earthquake here, I decide to go out into my Decidueye, my only ground resist. And this is a more offensive Decidueye, like I said in the team builder. This is a Swords Dance variant. Pinsir goes for the EQ as I expected here. And doing an okay amount for an offensive Decidueye here. Now, knowing he switches here, I already thought he would Scarf. He goes out into his Stuffykins, which was the Beware, predicting to go for a Ghost type move. I decided to go for the SD as it gets poisoned by these Toxic Spikes. So I get the Swords Dance up here. I'm at +2. And now, hopefully he decides to stay in, thinking his Beware can still take a hit from a +2 Decidueye. And then I decided to bust out my Z move in the Supersonic Sky Strike, thanks to the Flying Z. So, the Decidueye unleashing that Z power all over this Beware. And since, like I said, I'm at +2, I have a very, very good chance of one-shotting this Beware. So, Beware dropping out of the sky right on top of this Beware does not care. Goodbye, Beware. Hashtag bars. Anyway, down goes the Beware to the Supersonic Sky Strike as he goes out into his Alolan Persian. Now, I'm not going to stay in here on the Dark Pulse here, so I make the safe switch. I could have went to Como on the Dark Pulse, but Como puts in a lot of work against his team as well. So I make the safe switch into my Snorlax here, as it is especially defensive. A lot of special investment here, as that does an okay amount, but I can recover this damage off with rest and sleep talk. So I go for my leftovers here, and I get to go for a free frustration because he has no ghost resist, and anything that comes in will be taking damage nonetheless. And on top of that, they'll be taking toxic spikes damage if they're not already poisoned. So he goes with a parting shot here, lowering my attack. No problem. Not invested here, but the damage I get off would be nice. I decided to go out into his Mudsdale here, which is now going to get poisoned itself. So I go for a frustration here. That's an okay amount for negative -1. Snorlax says he gets a stamina boost, and then he reveals he is Rocky Helmet Mudsdale. So I'm not going to stay in just yet. I'm not going to stay in because I need a Mudsdale a little bit more weakened so I can start setting up curses, and I don't want to reveal my set. So with that being said, I'm going to go hard into my Decidueye on the Earthquake, as it's my only real ground resist. So back out comes my Decidueye here. So what I decided to do as he goes for the EQ, and judging by the damage that this Decidueye took here, that is most likely an offensive tank Mudsdale, and it made the most sense because stamina already boosts his defense. So here I kind of made an aggressive play. I predicted him to switch out, fearing that the Leaf Blade would take it out, even though he has +1 defense. But he decided to stay in and go for the Heavy Slam, which will unfortunately take out my Decidueye, which is fine because what this does do for me, it does give me a free switch into Tapu Lele, as that damage right there is 100% in range of Psychic from Tapu Lele in Psychic terrain. It was also possible that he was like a max HP, max attack, max special defense variant. So I decided to go for the safe Grass Knot here. I decided to go out into his Alolan Persian, predicting me to probably go for Psychic. But I go for the safe Grass Knot, even though it's not that heavy. Persian was in range, and down goes the Alolan Persian. So now I can freely spam Psychic with my Tapu Lele. In comes the Pinsir here. Now I don't know what this thing wants to go for, but I decided the safest play for me was to go out into my Garbodor and make him think that my Tapu Lele is Scarf. So Garbodor comes in comes the X-Scissor, and still does a decent amount of damage even with my defense investment. And now I will determine if he is indeed Choice Scarf or not, and he decides to switch out, which confirms to me he is Scarf Pinsir. So I get up a free layer of spikes this turn as it goes back out into the Mudsdale here. So now I got toxic spikes, and now I have 1 layer of regular spikes. So this is great for me, as Mudsdale takes some more toxic damage, which is perfect because it's now 100% in range of my little bit of lore in Power Herb, Solar Beam, Garbodor. He stays in thinking I could not touch the thing whatsoever, and boy was he wrong. Firing off that Solar Beam, and down goes the Mudsdale. Just one more thing that would have stopped my Snorlax from winning this game. So you get to go out into his Alolan Golem here, which I'm 100% fine with because Garbodor can't touch the thing anymore. I burned out the Power Herb. So I decided to just go for another layer of spikes and sack this thing off here, as Garbodor already did its job. It took out the Mudsdale, it got a layer of toxic spikes and 2 layers of regular spikes. So yeah, I'm 100% fine with letting my Garbodor down here to the EQ from the Alolan Golem. Please take a nice long rest, Garbodor, you deserve it. So now this sets the stage for my Dragon Dance Kommo-o as the weirdest appears in the battlefield. So get the free switch into my Kommo-o, and I decided to start setting up Dragon Dances. Because if I hit +2 with my Kommo-o, I 100% win the battle. So I'm at +1, +1. He decides to go for an EQ, it's not stab, and I'm running HP investment on this Kommo-o. As you see, that damage does not do as much as he probably hoped, and the poison damage is just wearing him down even more. So now I decided to go for +2, not to get greedy, but because of my investment, I am not faster than a Choice Scarf to Pinsir, so I wanted to ensure that I was. The only way it would backfire is if he crit me right now with his attack. So he decided to go for a Gyro Ball here, thinking and with my speed increased, he would do a lot more damage. He does do enough, but not enough to the point where Kommo-o would go down. I'm at +2. I get to go for Brick Break. Down goes the Alolan Golem. And this is pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered at this point. I take Life Orb recoil, but I have enough to take 3 Life Orb hits from the Life Orb. In comes the Scarf Pinsir. I'm at +2. He definitely is slower than me now. I go for the safe Poison Jab. I don't have Dragon Claw, I have Outrage, thinking that he would sack off Primarina a lot earlier, but he preserved it all the way until the end. Down goes Pinsir to the Poison Jab here, taking more Life Orb recoil, and his last Pokemon is Primarina. And as long as he's got the Poison Resist Berry, the Kasi Berry, then I should take this out just fine. He takes 2 layers of spikes and gets poison. In comes the Poison Jab from a +2 Adamant Life Orb Kommo-o. Down goes the Primarina, and that is good game. So we come away with a clean 4-0 victory on the back of Garbodor, plus the Kommo-o putting in the finest of work in this battle. So yeah, you see the nice little win there at the end. But anyway, this was a nice, fun match. I got to bring a lot of clean sets. The Power Herb Solar Beam was kind of spur of the moment, but like I hoped in the team builder, it baited in the Mudsdale, thinking he could not I cannot touch it. Dragonette's Kommo-o put in a lot of work. Tapu Lele got a kill with the Grass Knot. It could have put in a lot more work, considering that his team was fairly slow outside of the Scarf Pinsir. The Situai baiting in the Beware with the SD Flame Z. Gigalith never saw the field, and Snorlax. Snorlax was Snorlax. What more can you say? Just chilling in the back. Only out there for 1 turn, but heck, doesn't really matter to me. But in any event, if you did enjoy this battle like I did, feel free to hit the like button, and feel free to leave some comments, some nice comments in this section down below. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. There's going to be plenty more league action coming up as we hit the last few weeks of the IBL Alolan League off-season. The next video you will probably see from me will be my draft analysis for season number 4 of the UBC, or the United Battling Championship League. So yeah, I'm going to be picking it up my video content as the next couple of weeks come around. Hopefully things will be going a lot smoother over the next couple of days. I had some issues with my computer, which is why my videos have been few and far in between. So with that being said, I am going to get the heck out of here, and I hope you guys enjoy. Have yourself a good day and all that stuff. And until the next video, my name is Anthony, aka Tone, and I am going to catch you guys on the flip side. Later.